Don't believe I have any 10s left. I must have got them from somewhere. I think it was the 5 bits grays. Random RPG question. Should cure spells be affected by shell magic barriers? No. But they are usually. Now we get some spider webs. Because we finally have an opportunity to get them. Also, we can get Frog Song if we want. Actually, I usually like getting Frog Song. It's pretty useful. I keep thinking that Eris is Yuna, because it kind of makes sense for her name to be Yuna. Yeah, Frog Song's really nice for the spider, honestly. It just makes that fight completely meaningless. Whereas normally it's really scary. Although in this challenge, in particular, it's a little less scary because his big drop attack that normally does a bunch of damage, it's actually percentage damage. So it's not any scarier on this challenge. To make getting the other Frog Song a little easier. Spoilers! I don't know what these things are. Beetles, I guess. Butterflies. Terrifying. That's what I think they are. This, I hate this fight. This is... please, why? Come across one of these things on a hike, yeah. That's not what you want. Mutated grasshoppers. What are they called again? Chimera bugs. So they're just like bugs that are mutated. Oh, I stole the wrong one. Hopefully this kills him. What if this is what the frogs turn into? That's real scary. It's a real scary thought. Could you imagine a frog like growing legs and turning into one of these things? It's Grimm's fairy tale version of a bug. I mean, the other thing is called a chimera, so I think chimera maybe means something else. I don't know. This is the same localization team that did the rest of the game and called Aerith Eris and pretty much screwed up everything there is to screw up. They named... I think one of the best things that the translators did in this game is they named Typhoon Typhon, which Typhoon already makes sense, like it's already a thing, so why would it also be Typhon? But then they not only mistranslated it, but then misspelled it and named him Typhoon without an H. So they really blew it on that one. I don't know what they were doing. I forget exactly what it is, but I think when you pick it up it says Typhoon, and then in your inventory it's Typhon, but the actual name is Typhoon. So they just really, everything they could have possibly screwed up, they screwed up. Please use Frog Song on Cloud. Hey, he actually did. What luck. Typhoon is the hardest word. And then Kajata is the same, around the same thing. It was supposed to be, they're supposed to be spelled differently, but they either mistranslated it or just typoed it. Wait, the Chimera in the desert's called Chimera? Really? Man, they really blew it then. Yeah, it's supposed to be Kujata, and instead it's Gajata, like without a U. That one almost seems more like a spelling error than a mistranslation, because why would they take out the U? The best thing about the new skip is that it defaults Aeris's name to Aerith. Like, how cool is that? That's probably the coolest find I've seen in this game. You know, like, that is so neat that all this time there's been like an argument between Aeris and Aerith. But if you do this skip, it defaults to her original name before the translation. Or before. I don't actually know why that is. I don't know why in the code it's Aerith, but when you get to the screen where you name her, it says Aeris. It's almost like last minute they decided to change it. But whatever the reason, the code in the original code says Aerith. And you can actually get access to that if you do that skip. It's so neat. Alright, how many spiderwebs do I have? 3. I'd like to have a few more, and leveling up doesn't sound like the worst idea, so we're gonna go ahead and do that. What's my favorite boss fight in Final Fantasy VII? That's a good question. Not this thing, I'll tell you that. I hate this thing, this thing creeps me out. It's not a boss fight, but it might as well be, because it creeps me out. I don't like it. This enemy's kind of rare. A lot of people don't even know it's a thing, because it doesn't show up very often. Look at that thing, dude. Is that not the scariest thing you've ever seen? Like, what even is that? What are we looking at? Look at its googly eyes. Look at that face. What the heck? Who would put this in the game? Who designed this terrifying enemy? Put it back in the ground. Can we not? Put that thing back where it came from, or so help me. So help me. Favorite boss fight? I would say Genova Absolute, or Genova Synthesis, because she has my favorite battle music. But her boss fight isn't that great. I like the idea behind it, where she has the countdown to Ultima, but she has so little HP that it hardly matters. Most people don't end up seeing Ultima because you can just spam her down. So I think it could have been done a little better. I like how she has the tentacles though, and you can take out the tentacles or just go straight for her, so she's a pretty cool fight. She's definitely in my top 5. I never liked Bizarro Sephiroth, even though I liked the gimmick. The gimmick didn't really work very well. The version of Bizarro in New Threat is like 1,000 times better. I love what he did with Bizarro in New Threat. That fight's awesome. Lost Number's pretty cool. And I like how you can fight him early and he's super difficult, or you can wait till later. What else? If they ended up adding the fight with Red 13's like brother, that could have been like the coolest fight, but they took it out. I really wish if I could go back in time and like give them extra time to add something. How cool would that fight have been? They were supposed to have 2 Red 13 brothers basically. One of them was purple. The other one was blue, I think. It was like blue 12 and purple 11 or something. I don't remember. Indigo 14 and blue 15 or something. No, I think it was blue, because purple's kind of close to blue. I don't know. It's in my video, go watch it. Because I don't remember. But, you were supposed to fight them in the HQ when you first meet Red 13, and then they were going to come back as a boss in the final dungeon. Which, I don't know how they got to the final dungeon, but how cool would that have been to have been like, they're back! Like, right before you fight Genova, just suddenly friggin' 2 Red 13s pop out, and you have to fight them again. And, they had some idea where they were gonna give them, like, mechanical enhancements. Like, they were gonna try to prove that they were the strongest of the doggos. So they're gonna get some, like, mechanical improvements to, like, just prove that they're better than Red 13, and Red 13 was gonna beat them with, like, just as, you know, natural abilities. That would have been so cool. What's up, Diamond Dust? Thanks for the 30 bits, man. Appreciate it. What other fights? I always liked Emerald Weapon a lot. As a kid, Emerald Weapon was my favorite. It took me so long to, like, finally beat him. Welcome back, 3Ring. Still not getting notifications. I don't know why that is, man. But, I mean, I stream Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday always, so you don't really need notifications. I always stream at the same time, so just put a notification on your phone or something. I can't imagine why you're not getting notifications. Twitch is kind of weird with that. I used to get notifications on my phone whenever people went live, and then that stopped. And I'm not sure why it stopped. Maybe they just removed that altogether. Who do they think we are, YouTube? Who do you think they are? They're not YouTube, that's for sure. I can buy time materia and I have tons of MP. Yeah, but spiderwebs are always better. Spiderwebs hit everybody, and anyone can use them. Spiderwebs literally make time materia useless. because they're so good. They hit everybody without needing to put an all next to them, and they're free to use for everybody without taking up a materia slot. They're just too good not to get. It's like, oh, I could buy time materia, I could add it, you know, buy 3 time materias, put it on everyone, give everybody an all materia attached to it, take up all that space and all that time and all that money. Or I could just steal some spider webs and everyone can use them, and they hit everybody. Did I get the other one? I wasn't paying attention. I guess we'll see now. There we go. Yo, Tropdon with his 13th gifted sub to Nursel. Hey, his 13th gifted sub to Nursel 13. I guess it was meant to be. Thanks so much for the support, my man. I appreciate it. And Nursel, welcome to the crew, my man. Enjoy phone figure emotes, and I love you. And it's Tropdon 13. That's right. It was fake. The 13 brothers. Alright. That's enough. That's like 8, right? Yeah, that's enough. Let's go check out these stores that are actually really good. But first we're getting Titan materia. Fun fact, they added Titan to this part of the game near the end of development. It was originally supposed to be in Calm. And then they decided, nah, we'll put it here. Because Calm's too early. And that's why there's a locked chest in Calm that never opens. I still don't know why they would think to do that. They have the Titan materia in a locked box in Calm, and then at the last second they decide, nah, let's put it in the reactor. So instead of removing the chest, they just lock it and not make a key. Why not just remove the chest? Instead now there's this locked box in Calm that can't be opened, and mystified literally every player of this game for years. Certainly they had to have done it just to mess with everybody. I can't imagine why else you would do it. Grab it. Grab it. It's right here. Grab it. You son of a... This guy is the guy that you can spam power sources off of and become the strongest Pokemon master that ever lived once you get Morph Materia. This guy basically breaks the game once you get Morph Materia. You can just come here and get a million power sources and one-shot everything if you want. It's actually kind of silly. The entire game disintegrates if you delete that chest. Who do you guys think is the most worthless summon? Honestly, I never use Typhoon. And honestly, he's pretty good, and he's the only summon, really the only thing in the game that gives you Wind Element, right? Which is neat. But he's just never useful. You never really need Wind Element. And by that point, you have like Bahamut and stuff. So he's just kind of useless. And he looks really ugly. So he's not even fun to summon. You would think Chocomog would be the worst, but it's actually incredibly useful. Because of Stop. Kajata can be kind of annoying because he heals a bunch of people, but if you find an enemy that he doesn't heal, he ends up doing a ton of damage, so he's kind of cool. Plus, he's just a really cool summon. Titan isn't the best either because can't hit anything that's flying, and there's not much in the game that's weak against Earth. The thing about Typhoon is you can't get him until the very end of the game, and after you do a side quest. So you would think, like, after all that, he'd be pretty great, but he just isn't. He just does not. He just kind of does normal damage. Knights of the Round you go way out of the way for, but it's awesome. You know, Typhoon you go way out of your way for, and it's just kind of like, it does some damage. Doesn't do much for you. Can you just die? I don't want to fight you anymore. Typhoon makes my ears bleed, that too. You summon him once and you're like, alright, let's just never do that again. I guess technically you could get Typhoon a lot earlier if you got the Chocobos. But I always just get him after beating Ultimate Weapon. I never go up there with the Chocobo. So, but yeah, if you were to get a black Chocobo that early... Or actually, you just need a green one, right? Just get a green Chocobo and jump on up there. Do I even want Time Materia? It's so expensive, and I don't need it at all. I have speed drinks and I have spider webs, so what's even the point? I need tranks. I wouldn't mind getting some softs, just in case. Give me your goods, old man. What is even the point of this, this thing, by the way? He's got a staircase. It doesn't lead anywhere. It's broken. And he put this dresser right in front of it. What is the point of this staircase? This house has like a second floor, but it's blocked off. Like it doesn't exist. I don't know what the heck's going on with that guy's house. The ceiling collapsed when the reactor blew up. Makes sense. The ceiling collapsed, but it somehow didn't collapse on the rest of the house, and it looks fine from the outside. Sounds legit. Should we talk to Zach's parents? Screw Zach. Hashtag not my Cloud. I also like how dark Cloud looks in this room. I don't really have any use for any of this. I'm not really gonna use... I'll buy these, just... This rug right here, yeah, that's a pretty dope rug. Do I have enough for time? I'm not gonna even bother. Yeah, when I play this game casually, I really don't use summons at all. So it's kind of neat to play a challenge where I'm actually using summons a lot. Granted, I could just be spamming magic and do, you know, a reasonable amount of damage, but... it's character with an S, long-haired. And also, how's it going, my man? And also, screw these enemies. I don't fight these enemies on principle alone. These enemies make me hate my childhood. The amount of times I game over to these enemies as a child is way too dang high. Like, I game overed against these enemies so many times that I still get, like, apprehensive when I see them. I'm like, get me out of this fight. I don't like them. The coconut coffee? No, it's vanilla. Not the penguins. Petrified PTSD, exactly. This is a bad fight to take. I want to say this big bird is immune to Bolt too. Hey, Fat Chocobo. Oh, nice, I got fire too. This bird has a lot of health. King Big Bomb. Don't you big bomber me, I'll be real upset. Think about 100 bits was one. Fat Chocobo, totally worth 100 bits. I screw it for here. I was gonna heal, but me and my wife had a discussion about Cosmo Canyon yesterday. I don't know why, but well, I do know why, but sometimes I just sit in awe at this game. Like, even after so many years of playing it, sometimes I just, like, get absorbed with the pretty much just the universe it made. I was thinking about Cosmo Canyon yesterday. I was talking to my wife about it. Talking about how Tetsuya Nomura loved the idea of Indians, and that's why he came up with this, with Cosmo Canyon, and came up with Red 13. Yeah, I'm not going to your crappy store, sorry. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, there's so much to unearth in this game. Let's get one more of them. This guy, get the other ones there. Also, if I were to get into a fight right now, it'd be game over. Should we do the Barrett date? Now or never? No, I'm not gonna do Barrett date. Me and my wife are having a discussion about Cosmo. Well, what's funny too is my wife is not a video game fan. She doesn't play that. She's never played this game. No, all she knows about it is what I've told her. But Cosmo Canyon came up on my iPod. We were listening to it in the car, and she was interested in it. So I told her where it was from, and then from there talked about why there were Indians in Final Fantasy VII. It's cool how great Tetsuya depicted Indians in this game. Or should I say Native Americans? I'm from Ohio, I'm allowed to call them Indians. And anyone else is like, oh, that's politically incorrect, you have to call them Native Americans. But in Ohio, we've always called them Indians. And I've personally known many Indian people who told me, who talked to me, because we have a bunch of hikes around here that are famous for Native American culture, and they bring Native Americans all the time to come talk to us. When I was a kid, I listened to like 87 different Native American speakers, and none of them were ever offended being called Indians. So I take it from them themselves and not what stupid politically correct people tell me to call them. What's up, KJ? But regardless, even if people think it's politically incorrect to say Indian, I have an insane amount of respect for Native Americans, as I grew up learning about them constantly. And Native American culture is huge around Ohio, but in specific, the area I live in. It's literally called Cuyahoga Falls, and it's a Native American term for Crooked River. Actually, is it a Native American term, or is it just... I'm not actually sure, but it means Crooked River. At any rate, it's really cool how Tetsuya Nomura depicted Native Americans in this game, because he could have just had a bunch of silly Native American people, and they're like, welcome to our land and stuff. Could have been like Lion King 2.0. Think of the 200 bits long-haired. I still love you too. But what's sweet is that he made all the characters in Cosmo Canyon normal, and the Native American species is Red 13 species, and it doesn't come across as being politically incorrect or anything because it's its own species. You know, Red 13 is its own thing that just happens to be similar to Native Americans, and they're the they're the ones that protect the planet. So they give Native Americans this super important role of protecting the planet, which is cool. How does Red 13 have a human grandfather? His parents died in the War of Cosmo Canyon, so Bugenhagen adopts Red 13 as his own, and he just calls him Grandpa, but he's not actually his grandpa. Why does being from Ohio give me the ability to say Indian? It doesn't, but I've talked to many Native Americans that are fine with the term, so until an actual Native American person tells me to stop saying it, you know, I don't mind saying it. If someone else minds me saying it, then by all means speak up and I won't say it. But as far as I've met, I've never heard anyone get like super offended by me calling them Indians. And in Ohio, we have a baseball team called the Indians, and it's supposed to be very reminiscent and very, you know, it's supposed to be very supportive of Native American culture. And it has been for the past however many years the Indians have been around, until literally recently when someone decided it was offensive. But it was never offensive up until that point. Well, the term Red 13 didn't actually come from, like, Indians' red skin. At least that's not what I've read. The idea behind Red 13 was the Tetsuya Nomura wanted to have a name that didn't sound like a name, because Nanaki is his real name, but as a Hojo experiment they gave him the term Red 13, and so he wanted something that didn't sound like a name because they wanted him to sound like some kind of project that Hojo didn't care about him. So somebody else, I forget who, came up with the idea of having a number and a color and just combining them, and that would be the name because it doesn't sound like a real name, and so they just came up with Red 13. As far as I've read, it has nothing to do with red and Indians, but it could. Back then, it wasn't as you know, socially unacceptable to say that, and this was Japanese people who don't necessarily have as much influence from Native American culture as we do in America. Plus, if you think about it, it makes sense. Even in a racist way, it makes sense, because Hojo wouldn't care if he's being racist. He's giving him a project name and he's performing terrible experiments on him, so it would make sense that Hojo would be racist, you know what I mean? If that's what they were going for, then yeah, it makes sense. And then Red 13's just kind of okay with it because he's been called that for a while, so he's just like, whatever. I always did find it a little weird that Red 13 doesn't, you know, say, my true name's Sanaki, you should call me that. He's just kind of cool with it. He says you can name me whatever you want. What's funny is Nanaki is the only character that has a canon name. If this game is the only game that exists, he's the only character with a canon name, because everyone else, you can make them whatever name you want. But Red 13, you're only naming him based on his project name, but his real name's Nanaki no matter what. You can't change that. So that's kind of weird. Actually, I want to go back. Because I want to take your stuff. You know what? Take that back. We're gonna keep Harris. Keep hitting the wrong button there. What's up, Ataru? What's up, Chryso? I love how we just walked into Cosmo Canyon and suddenly we're like in super talk about political correctness in Native Americans. But hey, why not? Finally have like a lot of materia slots to work with. So, do we fight Genatok without the cheese? Honestly, even without the cheese, he's not that bad. Usually he's really terrifying, but if you just use the fire ring, if you make sure to grab the fire ring, he's not that bad. Because one character ends up being pretty impossible to kill. Now, if you don't grab the fire ring or the elemental materia and you don't use the cheese, this guy is a nightmare. An absolute nightmare. But with fire protection, he's not too bad. Fire protection makes it easier, but the fire ring makes it like super. The fire ring's super helpful because you heal. If he puts the fire dude in you, you just constantly heal. It's like having regen. So, with fire resistance, it just makes it not so bad. But fire ring makes one character like nearly invulnerable if he gets the fire put in him. Everyone laugh at me as I forget which Kate it is. I remember, don't worry. Don't worry, I won't screw it up this time. Also, ow, jeez. Stop. Yeah, you can go back with the fire ring and get beta pretty easily, but I don't really need it. Who needs beta when you have summons? Granted, you can use beta over and over, but I'm not too worried. You hate the spiders? Well, get ready to hate me. What's my favorite limit break? Probably Clim Hazard. I always thought Clim Hazard was cool. As a kid, I always loved Omni Slash, but make sure you put an S at the end of that, Jerkit. And welcome to the stream, my man. You're just listening? Oh, okay, well. Spoiler alert. The spiders are really easy with Frog Song. Usage just for fun. Oh, nice, I learned Death Sentence. Totally useless. Is there any time where Death Sentence is good? I mean, I'm sure there's like one or two random enemies that you could use it and it'd be beneficial. Maybe like the giant dragons in the North Cave Cavern or something, but other than that, like, what would you ever use it for? I guess you could use it for Tifa if you didn't have the Cursed Ring for Master Fist, but Cursed Ring's much better because it gives you Death Sentence and a stat boost. Yeah, I mean, like, for the speedrun, it makes sense to get it, because you'd want to use it with the, wow, the name just escaped me. Power Soul. I got it. Added effect. You're kind of useless right now. You are and you aren't. It'll be useful later. Yeah, with the Power Soul, it could be good. But again, yeah, it's only useful till you get Cursed Ring, and Cursed Ring is 1,000 times better to use. You can donate for Sid, but the bid is pretty high. I think it's at $100 right now. Vincent's much lower if you're interested in Vincent. Coming up on Vincent pretty soon here, too. Might get him today. Because this cave won't take very long. The question is, though, can we even beat Lost Number yet? I like to call him Missing Number. Missing Number is a better name, I think. Do you like Finishing Touch? Yeah, Finishing Touch is pretty cool. I always hated it as a kid, though, because it auto-killed stuff, and I was like, no, I want to kill it. Auto-killing's lame. I don't even remember what's in this chest. Oh, yeah. That's why I don't remember, because I don't care about Cait Sith weapons. This is terrifying. Wonder what would happen if you cut off Vincent's head. He'd be headless. Great answer. That's a Family Feud answer right there. That's a great answer. Great answer. Is it this one that goes... No, this one goes forward. Oh yeah, and then you have to go backwards. That's right. Do I want anything here? I don't know. I want the item up top, but that one's pretty obvious to get. Other than that, I don't know if I want anything else. So I'll probably just grab everything. Holy cow. That's some damage. I'm not used to having Fire 2 and Bolt 2 and everything here. When you play casually, this is usually when you start getting the 2 spells, but whenever I play, I usually go too fast and I don't get them yet. So yeah, rip your childhood if you never used Frog Song on these things. That includes me. I never knew you could do this as a kid. I used to hate these spiders. You just Frog Song them, and then because they're asleep, you can just spam magic and they'll never even attack. But as a frog, they don't do much anyways. They can still do some damage, but I don't believe they can do their big bounce attack, which is the worst one. MP Plus is important, but I'm going to try not to use it in this run, so it's not as important. But normally it would be important. They can be minied as well, but if you mini them, I believe their big bounce attack still does the same amount of damage. So you have to be careful. How would you do this if you did a no materia command run? No materia command? Oh, like you can't pick materia? Throw a whatever that item is that puts enemies to sleep. And then use Bolt 1 with Cloud. Or just Molotovs. Molotovs are the best. Yeah, if you threw a Dream Powder or whatever it is, and then Molotovs, you'd win the same way. So that's how you would do it if you were doing like a no materia run, or a run where you can't change your materia, or a run where you don't have any MP or whatever. Don't you love how terrible barrier is when you're playing fastest? Don't you just love how it blocks like one attack? That's it. Would you guys be interested in a stream where we do the new Junons, or the new Sector 7 skip, and then we experiment with how we get out of Midgar without the Materia command and with a level 1 Tifa and Eris? And we see when and if we ever get the Materia command back. See you, 3 ring. Have a good one, man. Yes. You missed what the question was? Would you be interested in a stream where we do the new Sector 7 skip, and then we try to get out of Midgar without the Materia command, with level 1 Eris and Tifa, and see if we ever get the Materia command back, and just see how tough it is to get out without the Materia command and with crappy characters? See what the fairy ring does. Oh yeah, it's kind of poopy. Okay, maybe we'll do that Monday. I really wish I could do it this weekend, but life is crazy right now. I can't wait till we get into the new house, man. I'll actually be able to do like bonus streams, and like I can let Seymour walk in and out of the stream because I won't have to close the door because I'm not on the same floor as everyone else all the time and listening to baby yells and everything else. It's just going to be the best. It's going to be the best for the stream, and it's going to be the best for me because I'm just really excited about this house. For a million different reasons. Is it bigger? Sort of, and not sort of at the same time. The room that I'll be in is huge, but the area that I'm using for the office is potentially slightly smaller than this. But like what you guys will see should probably be about the same. My vacation was great. How's it going, TSS? My vacation was good. But I'm glad to be back. Thanks, Gold Saucer. What's up, Block Stuff? Good to see you, man. Or I should say Block Stuff. Not stuff, but stuff. Let's not get back-tacked. We're finally almost up to like 200 HP, which is pretty nice. Thanks, Dropton. We might need help painting, but we have a lot of people that are offering to help, so it might be alright. We gotta paint the garage, and we gotta paint this side of the house before we sell the house. I'm about to get, like literally today or tomorrow, I'm gonna get the list of demands from the home inspector. So if that list is really long, we might need extra help. Just from running around grabbing these items, I actually got a lot of experience. Probably a little more than I really wanted to get, but like I said, leveling up in this challenge doesn't do much for us at all. But every little bit of HP matters. Just gonna run away from this. We don't need more XP. Let's hope we don't lose this, because I don't want to have to do this whole dungeon again. We got Elemental Fire on Cloud, and we got the Fire Ring on Red 13. So both of them are going to be pretty good. Eris is a little scary, but hopefully she can hold out here. Let's do it. You can throw an X potion here and just win, but I'm going to try not to, for fun. Because what's the fun in that, right? I hate freaking trying to hit this boss. Anybody but Eris, please. Okay, thanks. Thanks, bud. Anybody but Eris. Fix Eris. Crap. That doesn't work, does it? Why was I thinking it did? You can tell how long it's been since I've fought this friggin' boss regularly. Eris, don't die. Oh god. Eris, don't die. This could be a problem. Okay. I didn't know if it was percentage based. Since it's not percentage based, it's not too bad. That's bad. That's not what you want. I maybe should have used Seal Evil instead. But I didn't. So that one shot is no good. That's not at all what we want to see. No! Okay, this is bad. This is really bad. This is horribly bad. This is ground zero. Call for backup. Bad. I saw it coming. Should have thrown the spiderweb first, and I should have lowered the battle speed, and I should have kept barrier up. What's up, Weiss? I wasn't expecting that physical attack to kill Red 13, and it killed him by 2 points of damage. So that's just an unlucky one there. Run's going good. I'm still enjoying it. It's still challenging. We haven't gotten to the point where it's like too easy yet. Of course, this fight could be much easier if you cheesed it, but I'm still having fun with it. To be honest, most things are easy if you slow the battle speed and use slow or haste or whatever. Just makes everything a lot easier.